Hey everybody, Alex here with Momentum Charting, and thank you so much for joining me today. As promised, back with another analysis video on the chart of the SPY, the S&P 500. But first, guys, before we get into that, if you would, just jump down below, hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell notification as well so you do not miss a single update, a single video. I'm going to be doing at least one every single day until we find the bottom of this, whatever you want to call it, this pullback correction. So thank you for subscribing to the channel. Guys, let's dive in here to the chart. So today interesting day to say the least. Another fairly choppy day, which I guess when you take everything into account, that's not really surprising. Kind of the way this correction has gone from the very start has just been a very, very grindy, very choppy, really super messy correction, and that definitely continued today, where we had a low of, let's see, 444.11 and a high of the day of 447.74, and kind of there was no real rhyme or reason to when the highs or lows of the day hit. It was just a choppy mess all over the place, right? So guys, I guess the big question is now, is this correction or pullback over? And I just want to say clearly, I'm not going to make this video too long-winded, kind of like Monday's video, but I just am not seeing any evidence as of yet on any single time frame that this correction as of yet is over. It sure seemed like I'm hearing a lot of noise out there. People feel that this pullback is over, and it just, when you look at it, kind of with today's price action, it sure had the feel of just the end of a really grindy, really ugly correction, and today kind of a day set up for a big day to the upside tomorrow. But guys, like I said, as of yet, I'm going to show you the few things I'm looking at. Absolutely none of the things on any time frames that I was looking for the end of this correction have come to pass yet, and I'm just not seeing any real evidence as of yet for this correction to be over. And I just want to be really, really careful declaring, the bottom is in on this pullback, just because we're kind of getting into those zones where potentially you can have one of these big drop days, right? Kind of like here on July 19th, right? It's possible. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but a day where, high to low, it was something like over 2%, right, to the downside. And I'm definitely not saying that's possible, but when you are in these corrections, in these areas of pullbacks, no matter where they are, you just want to let them play out and give them a chance to potentially show their hand, because you can definitely get these really massive down days when you're still in the midst of these pullbacks. And even though this one hasn't really been that frightening, hasn't been that scary, seeing a lot of chop, it's been just really, really difficult for this market to go down even slightly over the past few days, even though the pullback so far has been, let's see, what are we talking about, the low today? So it's been 2%. It's been a really slow, grindy 2%, right? This is just, it's been a really difficult 2% down, but we're going to see how that plays out over the next couple days. But like I said, guys, I'm just still as of yet, I'm not seeing any evidence whatsoever that this correction is over, right? We haven't met any of our conditions yet. Last time I drew out this 30-minute overhead trend line right here, connecting the points of September 3rd at 12 o'clock and September 9th at 7:30 in the morning. And you guys can clearly see here that line to the upside has not yet been breached, even if you wanted to draw in this next line of overhead resistance, which looks to be, I will leave this in place here for now just because it looks pretty legitimate. Even this secondary degree of trend line has not yet been crossed. And yeah, this is one of the big things here to me that signifies that there is definitely, we want to be really careful when trying to declare the bottom of this minor degree pullback so far. Just not seeing it yet. And I'm here, let's see, I'm on the momentum chart in trading view still. Let me move this just a little bit. Move that onto the 4-hour candles. And you guys can see here, let me zoom in to get a little bit of better view on that. You guys can see here still getting this consistent series of lower highs on these 4-hour candles, right? 1, 2, still 3, 4, as well as these lower wicks, right? There has been no real repair here that's taken place yet on any time frame. You know, at least here, and as I mentioned last time, I've been looking for some structure, right? That could lead us out of this zone of correction that we've been in the last few days. You guys probably watched my video last time on Monday. If you didn't, you can go back and watch that. Again, I don't want to draw this one out too long today, but you guys can see here when we start getting movement in a positive direction and sort of repair from these pullbacks, you start getting these higher wicks and higher highs on these candle bodies, right? And we just have not, as of yet, had anything signifying anything close to that as yet. So I want to be, again, really careful moving into tomorrow's session. Am I saying, you know, tomorrow's going to be a big down day? Absolutely not. Just based on the action of the past few days, it's going to be, again, a very grindy day, possibly opening up positive and then grinding down through the rest of the day. I don't know how this is going to play out. All I know is markets appear not to be quite ready yet for this next big advance that I'm expecting in the markets. I want to be watching very, very closely for that, and not wanting to try to catch the bottom, even though I definitely wouldn't call what's happening in the market so far anything close to a falling knife. Still, these down days can really wear traders out, and I'm not seeing any evidence here of a bottom yet. Let's pull back and take a look at this momentum on a 4-hour time frame. You guys can see the acceleration still here, pushing to the downside, and obviously that doesn't mean that we cannot tomorrow do something similar to what happened here like on August 20th and start flattening out in a big way over the course of, you know, an entire trading session or a 4-hour trading session, whatever the case may be, and start pushing back to the upside. But as of yet, there just has not been any evidence of a push back to the upside or a rounded bottom, pushing momentum back to the upside. So again, we want to be really, really careful here. Also on the 15-minute time frame, I'm going to show you guys this period here. Let's see. So that was August 20th, and this was July 20th. Let's just look at this 15-minute time frame in here. Kind of look at these bottoms and see how it's just not quite the same here yet, right? So this was the bottom around the 19th and 20th of August here. You guys can see that not only did we get a break above this, back above this line of overhead resistance, but we got this kind of confirmation bottom also out of this downward segment of momentum that we had entered in and started pushing back to the upside and eventually above the zero line. Got another piece of confirmation here towards the end of the day on August 20th. So 2 points of confirmation and a break above that trend line, okay, of overhead resistance. And then back here on, yeah, this one was a little bit different, but very much the same in that we were able to convincingly break back above this overhead line of overhead resistance right here around the 20th of July, right? So let's go to today's price action and just look where we are kind of at here. We examine this. You can see it's just completely different, right? Even if you wanted to, say, for instance, draw the line of support, something like this, give the market the benefit of the doubt, you guys can see how different this time period is as of now. We're just getting this consistent series here of lower highs and lower lows. There's been no resolution to this yet. In addition, we have not broken above this overhead line of resistance as of yet. So again, want to be very, very cautious and with what's happening with this pullback, and I do not believe that it's over yet. Need to see more evidence of that. Let's go over here to the chart of the SPY. I just want to bring this up to you guys here for a second. This one will definitely not take that long. Last couple pullbacks. This one was in August. This one here in July. 1 hour time frame. I'm on the DRSI. When the market started repairing back to the upside, you had this clear break of the DRSI back above this overhead line of resistance here and here as well. 1, 2, 1, 2, and you can see here I've got this very, very clean looking line of overhead resistance right here on the DRSI, and there has been no resolution to that yet. So it's definitely not to say tomorrow we can't push up slowly and then just tank, tomorrow, next couple days. And I do want to be very careful and mindful and watching the possibility of that. But again, how this thing has played out has just been a really slow, grindy process to the downside. But again, markets can definitely surprise, and they like to fool traders. You think one thing is happening, and all of a sudden they drop the bottom out during the session tomorrow. So we want to watch this and be very careful. Again, we want to see some evidence of all these things happening, momentum favoring back in our direction, a DRSI, at least some break back above these lines of overhead resistance. And let's close up this video for today with a look at the chart of the VIX. Well, the VIXY, which I like to look at more, just a proxy for the VIX. And I showed you guys this chart yesterday. Let's open this up here. Let's go to the price part of this chart and zoom in here. You can see a better view. And this is really what I was looking for this this correction, this pullback, whatever you want to call it, this period of increased volatility to end, was when we breached this trend line here to the downside. And as you guys can see, it just has not happened yet. It's just been, since around the September 7th, so about a week of trading. It's just been this really ugly, really choppy, just mess with no real, it just does not seem to have any real rhyme or reason to what's happening here as far as volatility. And we just want to be careful, right? Until we get some sort of a confirmation that this is volatility here is broken outside of the bounds of this line of support. This, once again, is when I believe that markets are going to return and start pushing to the upside in earnest again. And until that happens, we just want to be really, really careful and be on sort of high alert status for what this market could potentially do, and potentially big days of volatility increase are on the horizon. Potentially. Of course, we don't know for sure, guys. We have to watch this, right? We have to watch. It's just a potential when you're in these periods that's happening right now of increased volatility. You've got this line of support. You're still pushing up on a 4-hour time frame. You've still got this momentum on the volatility chart that's pushing to the upside right here, right? And also on a 1-hour time frame. Let's see, right here. Zoom in on this, get a little bit better look. Just right here, it's just, again, it's choppy and ugly, guys, but you got to give this thing some respect. And just the fact it's still putting in a series potentially of higher lows and higher highs. If this rolls over tomorrow and starts pushing back up again to the upside, yeah, that's going to blast off volatility to the upside right along this trend line. And markets are going to spike lower. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So we want to be careful And of course, the other thing that could happen tomorrow, which does look like certainly a possibility, futures are slightly green right now. So we want to watch for this thing potentially rolling over on a 1 hour time frame, like I was showing here, and then potentially pushing back to the upside. And that would be, you know, this volatility pushing all the way back down to this trend line in some form or fashion, and then just pushing right back up to the upside and markets falling again. So we kind of want to be patient here, get all these things pushing together in the right, with at least a few larger time frames in our favor. We're just not getting that. Just this really ugly, choppy mess. A very, very good time to avoid if you're a swing trader. This is a period right now where I'm sitting out on a lot of my trades, just watching to see exactly how this push to the downside develops. If indeed today, sort of with that really choppy day and then just big pushback at the end of the day signified the end of the correction. I really don't think so. If we get some follow through with this upside tomorrow, that could certainly turn things around and cause this volatility to spike right through this trend line and end any bearishness in the market for the foreseeable future, at least the next week or so of trading. So we're going to have to watch all those things, and you know, a break back to the upside of the DRSI and the momentum, obviously, on the SPY, which we're going to continue to be watching very closely. Guys, thank you so much for joining me in this video. Definitely going to be doing an update tomorrow. As promised, I'll do one every single day on the SPY until we are finished with this minor degree pullback, which is all it's been so far. So yeah, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that video. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you are having a fantastic day. Thank you so much, and I will see you all again in tomorrow's update. Bye for now.